The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 22nd day of August, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr., and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. What's good? Good, brother?
I'm good. How you been?
I can't complain, been outnumbered this week,
Yeah, I see. I saw you extra. You seem like you was very happy that a certain someone returned after the hiatus. It was a working hiatus, but nevertheless.
That's what it was, work. I don't know. Paris? I don't know. What they have, baguettes, something like that?
I'm not going to try and mess up the.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't pronounce these things, but somebody came back, I guess. I didn't even know she was going, to be honest.
Yeah, the news. So yeah.
But always good to have the M to the P back. And where you been? You haven't been on since last week. You're getting like her.
Hey man, storm prep, up on my hill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Started running again, Jamal. I don't know if you checked your Garmin.
Oh, I have to go on the app. See what? Yeah. It's been rough, Coach. It's been rough.
Yeah, I'll get back out there.
Yeah, it's been a rough one. I actually did something this morning. When I went out for my jog, I stood still for about 2 minutes just to see the humidity, right? And I no lie, I wanted I wish I should have videoed it. Maybe if I start taking Maya's directions, I'll video myself anyway. But I started sweating. I legit, like, you would have thought I had been running already. And I was just like, this humidity is not kind, man.
Yeah. It's same weather here. The humidity is brutal right now.
Yeah. It's interesting. But folks, if you haven't already, you know what I did this morning? I'm doing a 3-day juice only. Yeah. So bear with me if I seem hold on. If I seem extra grumpy over the next few days, right? Because you all think I'm grumpy anyway. But with that said, Larry, today, because we haven't done it in so long, right? And because Maya's back, I forgot to welcome her back.
I'm her
with a joke of the day, baby. We ain't done a joke of the day in like 2-3 months. Hold on. Let me just check, see if I get one. Hold on. Oh, I got a good one. Audience, do you want a joke of the day? It's been a while. Do you want to laugh? Maya, do you want a joke of the day?
Just try to act like she doesn't hear us, but she does.
She wants a joke of the day. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Dr. Amani Flood for another segment of Ask the Doctor brought to you by NMAC. We're going to be talking about IV nutrition. This is something that I had to read about to understand what we're actually talking about. And I've seen people post that they're doing it. So very interesting conversation. Make sure you share the link, like it, make sure you follow and subscribe, all that stuff. We want to make sure people understand the benefits of IV nutrition. The Daily Play, well, it's a name that plays today. All right. So we'll see if Larry is down, if he can get it. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump into today's conversation. All right, so Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Thursday, Jamel, Larry, and Maya, and an awesome Thursday to you as well, Suzanne. Karen Simmons, she says, morning, Larry and Jamel, and a happy Thursday and morning to you, Karen Simmons. No, I saw the humidity on my body in terms of the sweat. That's what I mean. I felt it, but I said, let me stand there. And I just broke out in sweat. It was bad. I'm just glad that I began jogging. So let's get into today's conversation. So one of the things that I've always appreciated about living in the US, Did we get the joke? What's that?
Did we get the joke?
No, I'll give the joke when Maya comes on.
I'm sorry.
I can't give it without Maya. Look, yes. We got to bring her in, right? Because she's not going to come in early just for the joke. She's not, yeah. So let's get into the conversation. So one of the I've spent half my life in the US at this point, right? And one of the things I've noticed in the US that I think would be beneficial in Bermuda, and there's a lot of hoops to go through to get here, especially from a union perspective and employment laws and the like. But I'd be traveling down to Miami on 95, and you'll see a sign, road work to take place between now and November 30th. One lane traffic between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. Right? So they would do what's it called? Construction while people, are off the roads, right? I'm not sure how that would work in Bermuda, but the question of the morning is, what can be done to reduce the inconvenience road work causes to motorists? What do you think? Because right now, it's tough in Bermuda. It's so small, it's hard to get around, right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I looked at a few areas that I go through, the Harrington Son area, and it was I went up the west, and I can't remember exactly where I saw it where it work. And during morning traffic, if I can speak to where I travel, it becomes different. People are impatient and whatnot. And if they pause it, it becomes an issue because people are looking around and seeing government workers sitting off and they should be working and those types of things. So immediately what I thought when you talked about inconvenience and what can we do about it is, one, some has to be taking place during nights and weekends, but to tell you the truth, the traffic in weekends in Bermuda is high also, right? And then the other option, I know in some places we talked about temporary bridges. I just don't see the monetary, where the money's coming from for something like that. But with that being said, I think we have to kind of look at some sort of delayed nighttime work. Even obviously the noise becomes a concern because it's close to houses, but I think motorists deserve a little better. Not to say that this actually could be best case scenario what we're dealing with right now.
That's interesting. You said about the temporary bridges. I've seen that. That sounds costly, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's fuel and everything, but it's not costly. It's too costly for Bermuda.
But I mean, here's the challenge. And I think it's all good ideas, like construction overnight. I think the challenge in Bermuda with doing road work overnight is that most of the roadways are near residential areas where people live. So, as you know, working during the day, it's so much going on, it's not going to seem as loud. But working at night, let's use, if you stay Loyal Hill and some road work is taking place on North Shore down by Clay House, you will hear it over the hill if it's taking place at 1 a.m. Right? So I think that's one of the challenges, right? Another challenge is, and I say this with love. Right? I say this as an employee and an employer. I think culturally we have an attitude that we don't work outside of normal hours.
Yeah.
What's considered normal hours. So there will have to be a lot of bargaining with unions, and employment laws will have to be revisited to even get anywhere as it relates to working overnight hours. That's number two. As far as weekends go, when do most people have, family time, even religious time, extracurricular time? That's when a lot of people do those things, right? And yourself as a person who does shift work, I can only imagine how much time you feel like you miss with your family. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for you, but I can only imagine. So I think culturally, it will take a mindset shift. It'll take a mindset shift for us to get there. But I definitely do believe that these are considerations that should be on the table, Larry.
Yeah. It's interesting. As you said that, another thing kind of it's like, so what's the balance? And the balance may have to be or the concession rather. And an earlier start might have to be something. Do we start work at 4:30 or 5 in the morning? At least guys can get 3.5 hours before in traffic comes or something, and then they can take a break for an hour or something like that. Something different. Again, the same concerns about going to the union and there's concerns will still be there, but that may be something rather than 2 o'clock anymore, or 11 to 5,
But what are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts? And would you be in favor of road work taking place on weekends only? Answer that, yes or no. Would you be in favor of road work taking place on weekends only? Yes or no? Let's go to the audience. Derek Hendrickson says, wouldn't nights and weekends cost more as well? Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be considered overtime. It would be regular work hours, Derek. So it wouldn't cost more. If you took those hours from their regular, let's think about it like this here. It's called shift work, right? So if you had people who normally worked overnight shifts, they're not getting paid more double time or time and a half. That's just the shift that the work is required to be done at, right? So no, it shouldn't cost more if things are done like in other jurisdictions, right?
They probably got a premium pay because they're working unsavory hours, but that still wouldn't be overtime.
Right. It's not right. It's not overtime. It would be just regular hours at a different pay scale. Sancho Durham says privatize some of it.
Ooh.
I mean, Sancho, I'm not against the idea, but man,
that word in Bermuda.
she was on for this conversation too, because I get it, Sancho. And people don't be look. Why am I saying don't be mad at me? You all mad at me anyway. But that big U word Lara's mentioned already, unions. There has to be some sort of. I would love to get the union's perspective on this. Actually, hopefully we as Labor Day comes up, we may have someone on from the union. But I think this would be interesting to get their perspective on something like this. But I think the overall aim as well, audience, is to reduce the inconvenience on the majority of Bermudians. We have to find another way, right? Let's go. Central Durham says, works in engineering takes a lot longer than they should. If it's privatized and built on time, it will take, which it takes, it will be a huge shift. I mean, I don't want to go there this morning. Sanchez then says, a lot of these projects do not have to take as long as they do. Yeah, but they got to keep people working, Sanchez. They want to keep people working. And
I think it's a bit more involved in just, what the public sees. You know what I mean? Sometimes resources are sent out to other areas within the department and stuff like that we don't know about. But I knew works in engineering takes a lot of flack or parks, government workers. I knew it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it just goes like that. Good.
Yeah, no, on Instagram, we've got Sandra Beaming saying, when visiting family in the UK, the train track was closest Sunday in our area. Also, track was maintained every night. I think I read that correctly. Yeah, I think I read that correctly. And the Butters Mama says lots of the roadworks are private contractors. So, Sandra, to your point, a lot of the roadworks are private contractors, according to the Butters Mama over there on Instagram. Well, let's get back to we're going to go to Facebook. Suzanne Ingham says, no thank you to night work near Loyal Hill. If noise is involved, the club down there is too noisy, I think she means. Well, here's the thing. If the road needs to be fixed, it needs to be fixed. I think the discussion right now is, when is a good time to fix it? When is the best time to reduce the inconvenience? Like how can we reduce the inconvenience? Because at the end of the day, Larry, you ever driven from the West End during rush hour?
Oh, it's crazy.
Okay. I feel for them. I mean, we've had various discussions on the show how we can help. Do we make Harbor Road one way during morning rush hour? Do we put a toll? Like, look, I feel for people who drive in from the West End, right? I really do. I want you all got an underground train just because of what you have to deal with. What we're discussing this morning is, how can we reduce your pain? How can we reduce the inconvenience for you? And yes or no, just yes or no. The question on the screen: would you be in favor of road work taking place on weekends only? Would you? Yes or would you be in favor of that, Larry?
No. I think we need to. I'm in favor of picking and choosing. Some during the workday, some during night, some during the weekend. But weekends only, I think that will still create an issue. And to be honest, I don't think any answer we give, someone's gonna have an issue with. But we just need to have it better than what's happening right now.
Well, you just stole my dang answer. I was honestly going to say, I don't think we should do anything. I think it should be on a case-by-case basis, because if a road needs work today, we should work on that road today. I don't think, unless it's work that can happen over time, where we can say, okay, every weekend we will work on it. But I think case-by-case basis. Sancha says no. Derek Hendrickson says no to only weekend work. Need to find some balance. And I think Larry said that earlier, finding some balance. Well, let's go back to the comments. We've got Charles H. Well, let's go to Renee Simmons first. She says, I've been saying that for years. In the US, the work on the roads at night possibly calls for OT or another crew, which would make sense. It can and should be better at night. It's even cooler. But what about those people who live near the areas? I mean, again, you don't want to reduce inconvenience for motorists and then create issues for residents, right? So there, again, that word balance, we have to find the balance, right?
Yeah. And as someone who has worked out early mornings and 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, it's very quiet. And I remember skipping early in the morning for a warm up, and someone was like, "Yeah, I heard this noise," and it was me skipping, and that was a few houses down. You heard everything; it's just magnified.
Exactly right, because it's quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Charles H. Jefferson II says, I don't know what the answer is, but the recent work that was done at the Paget stoplights was handled very well. They had alternate routes, and the work was carried out in a timely manner. And Charles H. Jefferson II says, it was a private company who did the Paget stoplights area. I was impressed. That sounds like a shot at the public workers. I don't know, Charles. Jenna Maynard says, I think some works are privatized. Example, the road fencing. Okay. Connect Island Empress Burgess, she says, in the States, they do major road work in the evenings and early morning days and weekends to speed it up. They have lights and other safety to make it work. Yeah, I mean, like I said, most of the work I've seen in my lifetime in the US, they will have those boards telling you work will be taking place this time. You'll even weekends, mainly Sundays, because it's the slowest day on most roads. But I think Bermuda's challenge is we just don't have the road space, right?
Yeah. I think the also thing is the public, they don't want to be inconvenienced at any time. And I think a large group don't have any patience no matter what it is. And I think it's like, but we understand that we need our roads fixed.
Yeah.
But at a place where, things are snowballed, right? And we have so many different issues with the roads, and it just has to be done. So I think a bit of patience is also needed on the public's part.
Indeed. Janet Maynard, wrapping it up, says, I don't see weekend only solving the problems. Okay. And Sandra Durham, she says, but we have to consider that in the US, there are more lanes and more than likely alternative routes. So very different. Absolutely. Like Sandra, I mean, the point, right, is this. If they shut down the turnpike in Florida, you can go 441, you can go 95. Like there's so many different routes to go north. So again, it comes down to space as well. Like we just don't have the space, right? We don't. Well, let's go through these last few comments. We've got to bring Maya in because she is ready to laugh at my joke of the day. We haven't done a joke of the day in about 3 months. Do you all want a joke of the day? Give it to us. Renee Simmons says it doesn't last forever. At night, with less traffic, the work will get done faster. People will just have to suck it up for a brief time. Well, Renee says, come by my house. Keep me awake for a brief time. Derek Hendrickson says, I think efficiency is the bigger issue. Aren't there some union rules about the amount of workers required on a job? I know a lot of people see more workers standing around than working and assume it's laziness. Do those rules evolve with time? Good point. Hadley Swan says, good point, Larry. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I appreciate in the USA that lots of road work is done at night. Connect Alan Prosperity says, right, we don't have many routes, so we have to do things faster, even if that means some inconvenience to make it work. All right. And we've got, she's screaming for a joke, folks. She's screaming for a joke. Let's bring Maya Plossi in. I want to get Maya's perspective as well on this. And maybe we can pull some young people to see what their thoughts are on, when road work should take place. But let's bring the M to the P in to do the news break and to laugh at your joke of the day.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, MP, you look excited to be here this morning.
Morning.
Can we just get it over with, please, Jamal?
This has been missed.
All right. I was waiting for your return. I said, I got to give a joke. All right, folks, here's the joke. Oh, look, we got another person calling for the joke. All right, here we go. This one's in honor of our golfing friend, Maya, Larry Marshall Jr.
That's watching me as a joke.
Didn't know you golf.
Yes, he golfs. Hold on. Let me get my laughing thing ready because I can't find it. I haven't done it in so well. Okay, here we go. Larry and Maya. Why would a golfer wear 2 pairs of pants?
Because you might get a hole in one. Awesome.
The audience loves it.
You didn't like that one, Maya?
That's too easy.
Yeah, but it was funny.
Yeah. Okay.
See, thank you, Susanna. Thank you. It's been a while. We just wanted to see Maya smile, didn't we? We missed her smile. That's what it was. Anyway, Sancha, did you laugh? You better say yes. I'll trip you.
I know Sancha probably got it too. She's probably in the back one, like, cause a hole in one. I just know.
Maddox probably got it. He's like, Uncle Jamal, come on. Yeah. But thank you, Karen Simmons. Thank you. Hold on. Larry does play golf. One day I'm gonna get out on the golf course with him. But the last time I golfed was with Teo and his dad, and they made me beat a putter, and I don't think that was a compliment.
Yeah, they made me beat the putter too.
I thought you were good at this game.
No, I suck.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you played.
Why I keep going back? I don't know. But it's
Come on, Sanch girl, give it to me. She said it was a good. We're gonna leave the corny part out. She said it was a good joke. Anyway, I know you got some stuff for us.
Yes, I do have some stuff for you guys this morning. Good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News Break brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. Now, starting your news this morning, things that are important to know, an update to the most frightening and probably beyond devastating deaths on the island that we've been hit with in quite a long time. So the Bermuda Police Service can confirm that the investigation to the tragic deaths of 4-year-old Naveed Trim Parfit, 9-year-old Dre Trim Parfit, 39-year-old Nicole Parfit, and 40-year-old Ramon Trim has now been completed, and no suspect is being sought in connection with this incident. The police investigation has determined that Miss Nicole Parfit and her 2 children were killed after sustaining injuries from a bladed instrument at a residence on South Terrace, Pembroke, on the 7th of July. Forensic evidence gathered at the scene, along with the autopsies performed on the deceased, supporting these findings. They can now confirm that Mr. Trim died as a result of a self-inflicted injury. Out of respect for the families and the deceased, there will be no more information provided at this time, and a full report has now been submitted for the attention of the coroner.
I don't want to say much on it other than probably one of the most heartbreaking stories. I mean, yeah. Just sending as much love to the family as possible. I mean, they've been hit hard, and as Therese says, it's absolutely devastating. And things like that, your community. I just hope the community rallies around the family and offers them the support that they need.
Indeed. Now, in other news that is also still quite devastating, 24-year-old Shania Simmons has sadly died after the involvement of a single vehicle road traffic collision on July 11th in St. George's. So this was a little over a month ago, but the police service can now confirm that his death is the 4th road fatality of 2024. Now, in the original witness appeal made by BPS, they shared that around 11:57 p.m. on July the 11th, the police received a report of a single vehicle road traffic collision involving a motorcycle. It is understood that the male rider was traveling east along Tommy Fox Road when he lost control of the vehicle and collided with what believed to be a metal pole. Now, although he was transmitted to the hospital into the intensive care unit, he was sadly pronounced dead on the 15th of July. So this road fatality is currently being investigated still, and any witnesses are still asked to contact the police, specifically Sergeant Milton Hill on 515-2481.
Sending love to the family, but did you say they just reported that he passed in July?
Yes.
Okay. That's very sad. Again, sending love. And what number fatality was that for the year? You said 4?
That's the 4th road fatality of this year, yes.
Okay. Yeah, folks. I mean, just a normal reminder, take your time, be respectful of others on the roads. Yeah.
All the things that we always say, right? But yeah, condolences to the family, and yeah, Bermuda's roads, man. Now, in other news, and completely unrelated to the first 2 stories, a Bermudian is running for mayor in Nova Scotia. So Kyle Misfa has been living in Nova Scotia, Canada for about 10 years and is running for mayor of rural West Hayes, which has a population of about 20,000 persons. Now, he's worked in policymaking and federal work right after studying business straight out of university. And for a little similarity, the mayor of West Hayes is like the mayor of St. George's or the city of Hamilton. So he'll be running against 3 other people. And we chatted about, what he's dealing with as his mindset right now and the changes that he's trying to make when it comes to ageism, racism, and xenophobia, as you could believe, because he is Bermudian out there in Nova Scotia, as these are some of the aspects he's facing. And of course, we touched on one of the most pressing questions I'm sure everyone's kind of wondering is, why is he doing politics in Canada and not here in Bermuda? So that was a big topic that we discussed, and here's what he had to say.
I am a big believer and advocate of my island, and it breaks my heart every time I'm away from the island. I even get emotional just saying this. But it comes a point in time where, because we aren't thinking about the future and the diversity of our people, we are causing our talent to leave the island and feel unsafe or don't want to come back. I've been able to build, economic development strategies that have uplifted communities. I'm working on building a farm incubator with Black communities throughout Nova Scotia. I'm doing everything I wanted to do in Bermuda, but I just couldn't do it in Bermuda simply because folks have a perception of what a Black man should be or what a Bermudian should be, instead of actually taking the time to realize that we as a collection of people we don't fit into boxes. I can't even bring my family to the island if I wanted to, because of the disrespect and internal homophobia that is on the islands. The reason why I'm running for mayor right now is because of the foundation of Bermuda. And it breaks my heart every day that sometimes I can't do the work that I'm doing out here back home.
Mayor, You know, I, you know how I feel about politics. I mean, I'm worse than Larry. You know, Larry just ain't going, show up at pull. I'm gonna let you know why, right? It's challenging, man. I mean, I people always ask, would you run for politics? This and that, and I'm like, nobody would vote for me. Why not? Because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. So I'm actually going to look him up. I want to know what his platform is, what it looks like. And if I like some of this stuff, offer him support, although I can't vote, because I do think it is risky. It is a risk. When you put yourself out there politically, you are taking a risk, whether we like it or not, whether we like the person or not. You're taking a risk because politics, I was always told by my cousin, who's the president of one of Bermuda's unions, because until you establish yourself, leave politics alone, because they will try to take everything from you. So I just hope that he's established himself in his community enough to not need anything or anyone should politics not work out, if that makes sense.
Indeed. We actually talked a little bit about that too. He does have roles as a consultant, so he feels pretty confident in like what he's been doing. And if he doesn't make mayor, the pathways that he can take just from this experience of people getting to know him in this capacity. But it's about a 25-minute interview, and it's going to be up on my YouTube channel today if you want to take a further into it.
Okay, can you let me know what time? Because I'm gonna watch it. No, I really want to reach out to him and just, I like to pick the brains of young people who get politically involved. And when I say politically, put themselves in the space to be elected. I remember that the last young person we had on the show was it Malachi Simons, I think. And I just loved, I understood his journey though. I'd like to understand this young man's journey.
All right. Well, in other news, yesterday we heard from the Bermuda Youth Connect bringing the community together with people trying to get registered to vote, while the Daily Hour's reporter Simone Vaughn was actually at the scene and spoke to one of the co-founders of Bermuda Youth Connect about where they're at that present moment in time, which is about 4 p.m., about an hour before they're closing, as to how many people they actually got to register.
Altogether, we've been able to get 17 people registered to vote, which is amazing. This won't be the last time that we're going to do this. We would like to see this happen at least a few more times leading up to the next election. And it's been a learning curve for me as well, interacting with people in the community, because, a vote is a choice. It's a right. And if some people don't want to vote, that's okay. And if some people do want to vote, but at the same time, we do want to express why it's important, because your vote is an extension of your voice. And, we want everybody's voice to be heard. I think this is the first in itself that we've actually been able to bring all three political parties together. So we have representatives from the OBA, the PLP, and the FDM. So we've all been here together as a community to try and share why it's important to get registered to vote, especially with an imminent election.
Good stuff. Ajay, always so happy and bubbly. 17 people. Now, I know Therese said yesterday 50, whatever. That's a huge accomplishment. I don't want them thinking that's little. Like, to get 10 people would have been an accomplishment. To get 5 would have been an accomplishment. So I want them to understand, getting 17 people to register to vote, that's work.
Oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and still the interactions that they have even with the public at that time was good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you consider what the C10 by-election, how close that was.
Mm-hmm.
Just needed actually a bit of votes for whomever.
Therese said something interesting yesterday. She also said, in 2020, that was the last general election, right? We had by-election since, but in 2020, people who were 14 are now able to vote, right? That's 4 years later. So I think, there's I don't know how many people that falls in, new 18-year-olds there are, but I think that's an accomplishment. And I think, I don't know what their strategy is going forward, but get into Bermuda College when it opens next week. Yeah. I think classes start next week.
I have to double check on that one. But closing out a little bit with some sports, we got 2 stories for you. The first one is that, the Olympic Association had their press conference yesterday. And now that the Olympics is done, they went into detail about just what the Olympians went through, where they finished, how they placed, and also what the organization was actually gifted as well from, Paris in itself, like a torch and other things of the nature. So 4 Olympians actually showed up, were on the panel. And one of them, Tyler Smith, actually answered a question when it came to some of the journalists questioning about funding of the BOA and just like being an athlete in general and like what it generally takes. So here's his response as well, the chef de mission, Couture Horton, parent chief.
It is a huge financial undertaking to try to get to the Olympic Games.
Public support is always ramped up during the Olympic Games, after the Olympic Games immediately. But we have tag days, we have fundraising. All of these things happen throughout the quadrennial. So these guys they have to go to Youth Pan Ams and Youth Olympics and Commonwealth Games and Pan Am Games, CAC Games. These things come with expenses. So not just financial support, the support of the community. People should be coaching if they can do that. Olympiads, I actually am the first Olympian to chef an Olympic Games.
We're open to all sorts of things, and there might be opportunities for some sort of synchronicities or kind of partnerships that you might not even think,
Lara's had this conversation with me for donkey's years. Right? Look at his face, right? He had the conversation with me for years. Like I had no concept of hall track athletes, hall Olympians. If you're not in one of the major sports, in Bermuda it would be football and cricket. In the US, it's the top 4. How little you get rewarded. The fact that she mentioned tag days made me sad just now. That's sad, man. Folks, seriously, how could we celebrate Dan Floridafi the way we did? And they are out there doing tag days.
Yeah, it's the resources, and again, you're expecting people to.
Larry, let me just say this, because I want to say something very controversial, and I'm gonna stand on it and stand by it. Next week is Pride Bermuda. In October, you've got rugby. All those damn companies that's supporting them, we've got some athletes that just participated in Paris that would like your support to make it to LA. See, my problem with this stuff is we get on this popular stuff and trendy. And if you listen to Couture, they got to support during the Olympics and immediately after. Let's hold these companies that support Pride and rugby and whatever else they choose to support, hold them accountable. Not just because you like rugby and you support Pride, but there are other people in the community that are busting their asses, working hard, and they're doing tag days? Tag days? Man, that's an embarrassment to Bermuda. Sorry, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah.
To
be fair, it's not just a Bermuda issue, but I think it's magnified in Bermuda because of how small we are and the connection we have to people. But we're actually we're expecting professional results from amateurism, and it just doesn't work in 2024.
And that's something there too, because Olympics started out as just an amateur sport. It's no longer at that level that it is. So
Dream Team from in the 70s, they was fighting to end amateurism and get the athletes paid. And once they started getting to where professionals can get involved, it changed everything. And Bermuda really hasn't shifted.
It's upset. And again, I mean, Charles makes a point. It's a step above bake sales. Like, seriously, like, no disrespect to those who do bake sales, but it's like that. And Renee Simmons, why not sponsorship some of these IB companies? Because they support what's trendy and popular. I hate that about our community. Like, absolutely disgusts me that we support what's trendy and popular rather than what's effectively right and going to help majority of people. But I digress.
I could also say, I don't know if it is about maybe following or supporting even just one athlete. I mean, you could still follow the entire BOA, but if you choose to follow one athlete, get to know these because they are incredible people behind just whatever their sport is and have great values. But it's just, it's a hard process. Emma Harvey actually spoke about it at the conference, though, saying like Bermuda is fortunate, like we are fortunate than other countries who you may have heard of speaking. Like, I mean, Jamaica's field event persons were quite upset during the Olympics. They barely got any support from their federation at all. They mainly only give to track, and they don't really care about the field events, even though the field events outperformed. So it's a lot of conflict, but for the majority, man, if you can give, because it's a 4-year process to get there. Like Couture said, like they have to go to do all these competitions to be able to qualify. It's not just a one-day show up and then if you get it, you get it. No, it's 4-year process to qualify for the Olympic Games.
And lastly, if I could jump in, the pressure you have as an athlete to perform on your one chance is so great. And most of the times people succumb to that pressure, whereas in other places, they have so many different ways to get involved. So people don't get that part also. It's rough.
How's the weather looking, man?
Yes, before we hit to the weather, just letting you guys know that Friday, tomorrow, so the Bermuda Under-14 team will be playing against Anguilla in the semifinals. So that'll be at 7 p.m. AST. So you can watch it live on the CFU's YouTube page as well. So definitely want to tap into that. Jamal, put in your calendar, say we know when these guys are going to be out there performing on the big stage for Bermuda. And as for the weather today, well, the summer heat that Bermudians have a love-hate relationship with is coming in and creeping into us quite slowly, but it's going to be a long period of sun today, and we've got a high of 85 degrees as well, so it's looking pretty hot.
Thank you so much, Maya. Appreciate that. Larry, you've got some days of the year for us?
I do, and I'm not sure if our guest, Dr. Flood, would really appreciate this day, but today is Burger Day. So, today, I know you haven't had a burger in a long time, Jamal, but can you remember, audience and you guys, your best burger? Where has it been?
Everybody in Bermuda says Dorothy's, right? I never had one.
Outside of Bermuda also. I know for me, it was in Las Vegas. The burger cost about $40.
$40?
Worth every penny. I cannot remember. I want to say it was a Gordon Ramsay restaurant in Vegas.
$40?
$40. I will pay it again tomorrow.
I mean, how long ago was it? It's probably upped in price now.
I'll pay it. It was good. Yeah.
Did it come with like fries and stuff like for the 40?
Yeah, I can't fry. I didn't care about that other stuff. I like fries too. But
so best burger I've had. But what was the best burger you've had, Maya?
My mama didn't give us red meat growing up and stuff like that. But I had chicken.
Chicken burger. Chicken.
Okay,
Yeah, best chicken burger.
My best chicken burger, I remember very distinctly. It was at Frog and Onion. That's the one in Dockyard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just remember I was there with my sisters. I was so young and I got it. And it was just like a really big piece of avocado on it as well. And that's when I kind of got into avocado. And it was just really good. It like had some sort of like, the sauce was like sweet. I just remember that. And I remember demolishing this thing and being like, I don't really like burgers. And just like going ham on it. So yeah.
Trying to think. I think it was a Impossible Burger at a restaurant. It's a chain here in Florida, but it's the first time I ever had an Impossible Burger because I had only had Beyond before that, and I was just like, this is probably one of the best things I've eaten between bread outside of a Bermuda fish sandwich. So yeah, that would be it. Charles H. Jefferson Zach, and he says Fuddruckers has the burgers, but he probably got a veggie burger with bacon on it. But anyway, we're gonna leave him alone. Maya, we'll talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful day.
You too, guys.
All righty. Folks, don't go anywhere. We've got Dr. Amani Flood. Hopefully she doesn't have any early appointments because we've got a lot to talk about. Audience, this is a conversation we all need to be a part of. We're talking about IV nutrition. Yeah, I didn't know what it was either, but we're going to learn today. 1:57 seconds. We'll be back. In the meantime, give us a like, a love. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Dr. Amani Flood with Ask the Doctor coming up.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses, whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment. We provide 100% guarantee on approved loans, simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Larry Marshall Jr., myself, Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Office, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got our good friend, good doctor. It is Ask the Doctor. She's from NMAC. She is our favorite naturopath. She's Dr. Amani Flood. Let's give her a warm TDH welcome. welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Wonderful.
We love to hear it. We haven't seen you since before Cot Match, so I have to ask. Cot Match is over, but did your team make you smile or upset you?
Yeah. Well, very.
All three.
One day.
Yeah.
Reclaim the cup.
we will reclaim it. But Dr. Flood, thank you so much for coming back. And another important conversation, something I honestly did not know about. I saw a post on social media and the like, but we're talking IV nutrition today. Just tell us, what exactly is IV nutrition?
Very good. Well, thank you. Good day, everybody. Good morning. I'm so glad that Bermuda once again survived a natural potential disaster. Bermuda is so blessed, and the team of professionals who pull the island back together, they're just spectacular now. So what is IV nutrition? So we are going to have to go a little fast, Jamal. I do have appointments this morning. I'm a very busy naturopath. But what is IV nutrition? IV stands for intravenous, meaning directly into the vein. So it is a therapy which administers medicine directly into the vein. Everyone has experienced, well, most people have experienced something intravenous, because anytime you have your blood drawn, that is also an intravenous procedure, right? Where we're inserting a needle under the skin, into the vein. And in the case of a blood draw, we're drawing out blood. In the case of an IV infusion, we are putting something into the body directly through the vein as a vessel, as a transportation vessel.
Okay. And what would you say are the main benefits of IV nutrition, like compared to other methods of nutrient intake?
Right. So again, IV is really a common medical practice or procedure. In hospitals, you will find patients always sort of hooked up to a drip bag. That's what IV is. In the case of hospitals, it's administering fluids, which mimic the composition of our human blood, and also it's going to probably be administering some of the patient's medications. In the case of IV infusions of nutritional procedures, this is an alternative medicine procedure where we are actually administering vitamins and minerals, substances that nourish our cells and nourish our bodies and help us to be stronger and be healthier. But what was exactly your question? I'm sorry.
No worries, Dr. Flood. No, I was just asking as far as the effectiveness, the benefits of it compared to other nutrient intakes.
Very good. So when we take a tablet, swallow a pill, a vitamin pill, or something of that nature, it's going to pass through our digestive system and our digestive process, which takes a little time, and a very interwoven synchrony of events have to happen during digestion, normal digestion. When we use the intravenous route to deliver medicine, or in the case of nutritional products, it's going directly to where it needs to be, which is in the bloodstream for immediate delivery to organs and tissues. So it's faster, there's greater availability, or we call bioavailability of that nutritional product. Whereas when we take something in internally and swallow it, we may be able to extract anywhere from 50% up to 80% or so of that nutritional product that will make it to our bloodstream and not wind up, going out the natural way. But when we use an intravenous delivery system, we can almost achieve 100% of bioavailability of that nutritional product into our bodies.
All right. And Larry, before you ask your question, audience, I just want to know from the audience, has anyone in the audience ever done IV nutrition? Like, have you ever had the procedure? Want to know from the audience, just yes or no, have you ever had the procedure? Go ahead, Larry, sorry.
All right, Dr. Flood. Oh, you have, yeah. So how safe is IV nutrition, and speak to the risks?
Yeah, excellent question. It is very, very safe as far as medical procedures go, really. It's extremely safe. There are very few, very rare occurrences of any emergent condition related to an IV therapy, but there are risks. One of the risks is infection. Whenever we puncture the skin, it carries the risk of there being infection at that puncture site. It also has its greatest health threat would be a blood clot. So whenever we enter the bloodstream, the blood can respond by clotting in order to protect itself from overbleeding. And particularly in persons who may have a clotting disorder, or even in ordinary persons, there's always the risk of clotting. Another risk of IV infusion therapy is what we call infiltration. And that has to do with the correctness of carrying out the procedure. So one must be specially trained to do intravenous procedures, whether it be blood drawing, phlebotomy, or whether it be intravenous procedures. And I myself have been specifically trained and certified in using IV procedures. All doctors are certified and qualified to administer IVs, and most nurses as well. So the other risk would be carrying out the procedure wrongly, missing the vessel, the vein, and then there's something called infiltration, where the fluid is actually entering the tissues rather than entering the vein. It's easy to spot when it's done wrong, and it's not a tremendous danger risk. Generally, the needle is just removed and trying to be reset properly.
All right, Dr. Flood, I'm just going to ask you, because it's when we did the pre-show, everything was perfect, but right now it's if you could take out the headphones, the quality is just really off. The volume's very low, and then it's a big sound from like a motor or something.
Sorry about that. I'm just not a techo,
No worries.
But if I take off this headphone, can you hear me better if I just hold it close to my mouth?
The way whatever we did prior to the show was absolutely perfect. Whatever we did prior to the show was absolutely perfect. I don't know what it will be. It's just going up and down right now. You don't need the headphones. You shouldn't need them if you can hear us any other way.
Let's try. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
But I can't hear you. All right, I'm going to pull it out, and hopefully it will automatically revert to my. Talk to me. Say something.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. We just want to make sure that the audience can hear you when you're speaking, because it was very low just now. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No problem. With what you just said, right? Are there any people who should avoid IV nutrition, like if they have certain medical conditions or the like?
Well, IV therapy is a personalized therapy. So a patient would undergo a screening process before we would begin to administer IV therapy. It's difficult to pinpoint someone who would not be qualified to receive IV therapy. But as again, I would repeat that anyone that has a blood clotting issue we would look at that person more closely before administering an IV procedure. Other than that, people that have fears of needles and may pass out, syncope, or have this vasovagal, what we call response, where they kind of lose it when they're being punctured, they may not be the best person to have an IV.
Interesting. All right. So, are there any other misconceptions about IV nutrition that you'd like to address?
You know, Jamel posed that to me as a concern. I don't know what those may be. Your audience would have to help me out with misconceptions. What are some of the misconceptions around IV? It's such a commonly used procedure. Like I said, anyone who's been in the hospital with an overnight stay for almost anything may have had an IV catheter set in place because the hospital wants to be ready to be able to administer you some medicine through an intravenous route in the event that you need it. Also, so many people, it's just such a way to rehydrate people, just to deliver what we call normal saline, which is just a salt and water solution that mimics the consistency of our human blood. So, you know, just to support a person who just might need some extra fluid. So it's so common and it's so safe that it's hard for me to think of any misconceptions, really.
Cool. All right. So how often should one consider IV nutrition, and how long do the effects last?
Well, the effects can be different depending on the solution. There are so many nutritive products that we can deliver through IV: vitamins, minerals, and then agents of cure, therapeutic agents. There are a good several dozen products that can be administered through IV. The common one is a product called the Myers cocktail, and it is a mixture of high doses of B vitamins, high dose of vitamin C, and then some electrolytes such as magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. It's very, very popular to rehydrate people before or after sports, before or after a surgical event, in their recovery from COVID or the flu or any other debilitating acute illness. It's also good for things like asthma, you know, just a myriad of common migraine headaches, muscle spasms, for example. The magnesium is very helpful for that. So when patients come in desiring IV, they either know because they have some familiarity with having done it before, done it abroad, or even are repeat patients. So they're really familiar and they're here for their usual perk me up B vitamin complex, or we also use it. It's also commonly used for cancer care to deliver high doses of vitamin C, which is one of the nutritional products that can be very good at boosting the immune system. And so we just have a chat with them to find out what their goals are. And then once we know the goals of the therapy, we constitute a program that's going to deliver them what they've come for. So it's very individualized, a very individualized procedure. It's almost 100 years old. So during the two First World Wars and thereafter, IV nutritional therapy was developed and perfected to the modern use today since around the 1950s. So it's just so common that people are quite familiar with it. And anyone who's not should come on in and have a chat with me. I'll be happy to talk to you at greater length about it and explain to you what some of the uses are and how it might benefit that individual before me.
Yeah, I've been to the hospital or whatnot and seen people get IV. I just never knew. I mean, never understood it, especially in this respect. We have a question from the audience. Michael Daniels asking, is IV nutrition the same as chelation? Is that how you pronounce it?
Chelation, yes. It is used for a process called chelation. This is where we're administering products that have ionic charge on them, and they're intended to, for example, in a detox program with a person that has heavy metal toxicity generally, we deliver products that have an alternate ionic charge, a plus or a minus attached to them, that matches the product that we're trying to detox them from. We're not doing that here in Bermuda. It is a very specialized procedure. So we actually don't do chelation therapy here at North Carolina. But yes, that is one of the common uses in IV clinics abroad.
Alrighty. Any other questions or comments, please send them through. But I gotta ask, because this question usually comes up a lot when we have like either mental health, physical health, like just health professionals on. But Dr. Flood, what are the costs associated, and is it something that is covered by insurance?
Good question, and that's a fair question. I mean, anybody should have the right to know how their finances are going to be managed, so I don't have any shyness about talking about pricing. It is generally an out-of-pocket expense for most patients. There are some insurance policies that do cover IV nutrient therapy, and it depends upon the reason why they are getting it. So I try not to go, I speak in broad terms about insurance coverage because policies are so different in terms of what their benefits are. But someone is really, really free to discuss that with us, either in their initial phone call with us. We give you exact details depending on your own situation. And that's really the best way to go so that people don't have expectations that we can't meet.
All righty. And but how can people get in touch with you? I know you just said they can reach out, you can talk more, but if they wanted to, try this, come to NMAC and actually get IV nutrition, how can they go about that?
Just give us a call, right? 2935476 is our number. We are on all social media websites. We have an online portal, nmac.bm, that's nmac.bm. And they can go online, they can schedule appointments there, they can send us questions to info@nmac.bm, they can give us a call, they can come on down, we'll walk you through, we'll give you a little tour of our beautiful, serene IV suite, where people have a lovely view of the North Shore, ocean, and a quiet place to receive their IV therapy. We're very attentive to our IV patients. They feel really warm and welcome and safe with us.
Yeah.
I felt like a spa.
I was just going to say.
We're like a spa. It's a very spa environment because most people come, they are either not feeling well, they need a little pampering, or, they just want to kind of chill out, get that IV and bounce out afterwards. So, yeah, we keep it.
How long, I don't know if you answered this earlier, but how long is the process normally?
Oh, good. No, the process in total may take about an hour. We ask people to be well hydrated when you come. Dehydration or underhydration, as I call it, is a real big problem, particularly in our warm environment. People are just not drinking enough water. And when you come in a bit dehydrated, your vein is harder to find. So be well hydrated. Drink plenty of water as you are preparing for your IV therapy. But otherwise than that, there's no great preparation for it, and you can have something to eat. Sometimes it's good to be fed. Now, there may be some medical procedures that our rheumatologist, for example, also does IV therapy. Sometimes people receive IV medications, and there may be different requirements for that, so they should check with the provider for that.
Okay, I've got a couple of things I need to stop by NMAC to do. IV drip and colon therapy. So I love it. NMAC is definitely a one-stop shop. But again, folks, you can check Dr. Flood out. You can email her at Amani Flood at nmac.bm or give them a call 293-5476. And you do telehealth. Telehealth, is it called?
Well, we are not emphasizing telehealth at this time, and that's out of my pay grade to discuss. But during the COVID era, telehealth was more permissible, and now that we are out of the COVID era, telehealth is not as much a covered expense. If I just get to the bottom of it, so we want people to come on into the office. We're back in touch with one another. There's nothing like the personal touch of being here, being before me. I do prefer it, to be honest.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Flood. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I was going to say, Dr. Flood, you didn't let me know your favorite burger of all time.
Oh, see what it's doing to you, Dr. Flood?
It is the Beyond Burger.
Okay.
With a big old slice of avocado, like my goddaughter said, right, Maya? Gonna get that green in there. You have a nerve. I'm coming on the show and you want to talk about Burger Week.
This man just did it.
When I heard you say that, I wanted to give you a ringer. That's all right. Y'all keep eating them burgers, and I'll see you in my office when your arteries get all clogged up. How about that? Is that a deal? All right.
In moderation. In moderation.
Dr. Flood, it's interesting you say Beyond Burger. I prefer the Impossible Burger once I had it. But yeah, those are my two go-tos as well.
Well, Impossible better not get mad at me, but the Beyond Burger is less. How can I say that? I don't want to get y'all in trouble. But the Impossible Burger is GMO and the Beyond Burger is not.
Thank you. So Beyond Burger it is. See, this is why we bring the experts in the house, people. Beyond it is. Dr. Flood, honestly, appreciate you so much. Thank you so much
I
for
appreciate you
all
guys
that you share with us.
this platform, and thank you to your audience. We hope to see you all soon. It's hard to say as a medical provider, but because I do preventive medicine and so many procedures that are not involved, that you don't have to be sick for, come on in and see me before you get sick. I will keep you well to the best of my ability.
There you go. Thank you so much, Dr. Flood. Look forward to the next conversation. Talk soon.
Likewise. Have a great day, y'all.
You too. All right. Dr. Amani Flood, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you can contact Dr. Flood. You see up on the screen, email her at amaniflood@nmac.bm, or you can give her a call at 293-5476. So hit her up. Preventive. Yeah, preventive. You don't want to go to after fact. Stick with us. We can take our final break. Come back. See if Larry's got this daily play. It's a name that plays today. I think it's easy. Be back in a minute 51, I think. Yeah. Great news. Our Beat the Heat special has been extended through August 31st while supplies last. Keep cool with our further discounted Carrier high-efficiency mini-split units, plus enjoy 10% off Comfort Zone oscillating fans, Comfort Air units 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, and Hunter ceiling fans when you pay with cash. Don't miss out on these hot deals to stay cool.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Take a look at our walkthrough for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to NMAC and Dr. Amani Flood. Another good conversation, IV Nutrition. Hopefully you all found that conversation helpful. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. New episode available next Monday on bcgtv.com, and the game is available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's a name that plays today, Larry. Here you go. Okay. This is an easy one, I think. Audience, help him out. He might need your help, but what country gave the Statue of Liberty to the U.S. in honor of their centennial of U.S. independence? Oh, sorry. This was first. Sorry, Stacy. Karen Simmons said France first.
France.
Yeah.
Up me.
Yeah, France. We got Karen and then Stacy and then Rondell and then, well, I don't know, Charles. That Bacon may have put an E instead of an Nana Pam.
Said it in an accent.
Yeah, there you go. Fiance. Yeah, that's all right. So Karen Simmons, we'll enter. Hold on. We'll enter you with Sheikah this week into this week's draw. But yeah, France. It was France. Interesting.
First time I missed one in a while. I don't like that.
You're rusty, man. This is what happens when you come work once a week. You're rusty, man. But yeah, let's wrap up today. I mean, we started off, we discussed, reducing the inconvenience on the roads, and then obviously the IV conversation with Dr. Flood.
Yeah. I think with respect to the road condition and the fixing them and those sorts of things, we have to pick. I think staying this way isn't really helpful, but a little of what was suggested, maybe some night, some early morning and weekend work is the way to go. Our biggest hurdle probably will be the contracts for the workers. That will just be an issue, and probably something that hinders it from happening. IV, other than I think using it for, and this could be my ignorance hangover, I wasn't much really, I didn't get much of it. So I'm glad that Dr. Flood was able to come on and, give us just be more informed about naturopath and those things. So continue to do the good work, and thank you to the NMAC for providing that.
Yeah. As far as the road situation, I want us to evolve as a community to a place where we consider all options on the table. That's my hope. I feel like we shut things down so fast because we're just used to what is. And I think we'll do well to consider other things, put other things on the table. So I would, if it makes more sense, let's have conversations about work happening at certain hours or certain days to reduce the inconvenience. I think we should consider a lot more. As far as the conversation with Dr. Flood, I didn't get it, and I'm grateful for her explaining it. I always thought IV was for people who were sick, right? People who were, in need of. That's the only way that they can, take things in. With a better understanding now, I actually appreciate that it's something that people can get. Now, yeah, she did say it's mostly it's out of pocket, but hopefully it's something that, insurance companies can cover, like a chiropractor, going forward. But I appreciate that it's something on offer and that more people are educated and know about having that option now. So thanks again to Dr. Flood and NMAC. And folks, if you are interested in their offerings, just make sure you reach out, give them a call, 293-5476. Larry, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do, and I'm still stuck on the Olympics, folks. So this is from Kayla Harrison, American judoka and two-time gold medalist. This is my day. This is my purpose. I am not afraid to win.
Yeah, take the day.
Today. Let's go out and be winners today, folks.
Seize the day. And I stand by what I said earlier. No, it's not a Bermuda problem, as you saw what happened with Jamaica, but I think just because it happens elsewhere doesn't mean we should be okay with it. If we want to see more athletes participating and representing Bermuda in the years ahead in LA 2028, they need the support. And I'm not talking about government support. I'm not talking about government support. We should be holding the private sector accountable like we do our government. I'm sorry. If that offends somebody, so be it. And this is not to take away. I'm not saying that rugby shouldn't be supported or pride shouldn't be supported. I admire the fact that they can generate that. But it's popular and it's easy. As I said to Larry in private the other day, we spoke about it. It's easy to jump on things when they're popular because it's easy. But I want to see people who are willing to take a risk, stand out on something that's not popular. That's what defines you. So I'm interested in seeing how much of the private sector is willing to truly get behind Bermudians who are trying to represent their country at the highest level. It's got to be more than cheering and social media likes and follows. On that note, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.